Hi, how are we? Let me close this door. The laundry is very loud. Welcome to, oh, we're very far away. A vlog in which was supposed to be a weekly reading vlog. So I had originally planned to vlog and do Thrill Till the Weekend, which was the first 3 days in September, and then after that start into a weekly reading vlog that was reading sequels or like the next books and whatever. And I've been reading, I did all of those things, but so this month has just been weird. I want to say like I'm not okay, but I've been lots worse. I think I'm feeling emotions that I don't know if I've ever felt. Like, I would say I'm depressed right now, but I've never felt the depressed emotions in this way. It's literally undescribable for me. It's nothing crazy serious, but it's just like I feel so strange. Like I've never felt less like myself, I don't think. So essentially I'm still wanting to do all the things that I've talked about, and I still did those things, but I've had an even harder time than normal picking up a camera, and I haven't been able to like vlog anything because I haven't really done anything. This week has also been weird because we had Monday off with Labor Day. Bentley was home, and I find it hard to do that when she's home anyways. And then we ended up having a sudden death in the family, so we were gone at a funeral and doing family stuff all day on Thursday. It is now Saturday. I'm supposed to be done with this reading vlog tomorrow and start a new week. And I haven't finished anything. I'm in the middle of 3 different things. That's just the catch up of like, I wanted to open and just like tell you what's going on and why this is going to be a weird video. I want to try to salvage this and put in anything. I have a couple little things of like what I did. I went to the play on the 1st, so it was the first day of the, so I'm going to put in the readathon, the Thrill Till the Weekend. So the play happened the first day, the first night of the readathon, and so let's go talk about that. And then I'll throw any clips that I do have. Like I said, it's not many, but let us look and see. Hold on.
I know I messed up. Yeah, I know I did you wrong. But I learned my lesson. Now what if we could move on? Remember the good days. I wish that we could go back. I know I'm not perfect, but at least give me a try. I'm sorry for making you feel like you're not good enough, 'cause you're the best, you know. I'm sorry for making you feel like you're not good enough.
Alright. I want to clean as I talk to you, but I just don't think that's going to work. That was going to be my vibe of just like, instead of standing here, you could watch me do something, but I don't think you can hear me. Anyways, so my plans for Thrill Till the Weekend was to read these two books. We had Forget You Know Me by Jessica Strasser and Spellbook of the Lost and Found by Moira Foley Doyle. I was listening to this audiobook, and then I ended up just listening to this audiobook as well. My plan, of course, was to physically read it. It ended up really just being a big old dud for the weekend. This I was not interested in at all. I knew this wasn't going to be like scary or anything, but I do think that this would be classified as like dark. I don't know. Like, it seemed like this was going to work, and I think it would have. But I did not get very far in and decided to DNF it and not do this one. This is like a young adult book about this spell book that these, I don't know, it was so confusing. They like, some people found this spell book and they like did stuff, and then it ended up being like people finding their journals went missing, and I don't know. This could be something you might really like if you, the audiobook I think was done really well. Like the narrator, I don't know if they were Irish, Scottish, whatever they were supposed to be, but like they did the accent very well if they weren't. But it was just very not my thing at all. I think when I bought this was at the time when I did a big book buy of, I had this plan to buy books out of my comfort zone, and this I believe was one of them that I got for it. So I will just be getting rid of this one. And then I did end up listening to the entirety of Forget You Know Me, and this was a dud. I honestly have already forgotten what it was. So it started out, I thought it was going to be amazing. It starts out in the beginning of these two friends who are FaceTiming with each other because they live like hours away from each other. They're childhood friends. And the one is not married and is like this single, kind of on her own. And the other one is married and has 2 kids. And she suffers a lot with chronic pain, and just like after her pregnancies it just like got worse and worse. Things got worse for her, and she's just been living horribly and all this stuff. Anyways, so they're on a FaceTime call, and the mom goes to, like, one of her kids wakes up, so she goes to help put them back to bed or whatever, and while the friend is sitting on the FaceTime call, an intruder comes into the house like wearing a ski mask and all this stuff. I then proceed to tell you all of the interesting details that happen. It's not a spoiler because, I mean, it happens in the first few pages, but you don't need to know all the juicy stuff right here, so let's just cut that out. Like, the very first, like, 20 pages, which is that, is just like, I was like, this is gonna be so freaking good. And it just went farther and farther and farther downhill. I found it so boring, and like the conclusion ending was so anticlimactic. Again, kind of one of those endings where I was like, why did I even read this? Like, that was the most generic, boring thing that, really, that's what we okay. So I don't remember what I ended up giving this. Maybe a 3, maybe a 2. But that was that. So that was all that ended up happening for the Thrill Till the Weekend readathon. And then I started into the sequels, which we have Put In by Julie Murphy, which is like a companion novel. It's not a sequel, but it's like a companion novel to Dumplin', which I absolutely loved. And then we have The Rosie Effect, which I didn't even realize. I was just trying to find an audiobook just to listen to through this week. I was like, it doesn't even have to be a sequel. Like, I won't talk about it in this. But the only thing I could find was, like, I found this one. And as soon as I seen that it was available immediately, check it out. I was like, oh my heck, this is a sequel to the Rosie Project. I've just been listening to that. And then we have Thunderhead, which Puddin has a audiobook Oh, that's another preface I need to give. That was part of the problem why this originally started out, where I was just like, I don't even know what to do. Like, how am I going to do this reading vlog anymore? Something happened with Libby. I've never had any issues with Libby. I've been using it for years. Never had an issue, not one. And suddenly it was telling me that, like, essentially I didn't have an account anymore and I couldn't check out books, and it wanted me to re-enter my information. When I would go to my library card, it said I had a library card in there. It was all loaded up. But when I tried to check anything out, it said it didn't exist. The library that I have is from where I lived when I was like a teenager before I was married. And so I don't use my actual library card. I don't even know where one is. I just use the app. I was like, I can't put it because it just said put in like your library number and whatever. And I was like, I don't know where that is. And so there was a good 3 days where I was like, I'm not going to be able to get anything of this read because I'm read way too slow. I won't even get one book done for this week. Anyways, so at about Wednesday, I had an epiphany of that my mom has a card at the same place that she doesn't use. So I just had her send me her card info and I put it in and now it works again. But I guess they said that Libby just kind of had an error, so you and maybe have experienced that as well. Because I've heard that for whatever reason they had like a technical glitch in the app and that was happening to a lot of people. Got the audiobook finally, and I am 172 pages into this, and I am not liking this nearly even close to as much as I like Dumplin'. Maybe it was because again, this is like what I was talking about. I find that sometimes if I'm listening to the audiobook, even as I'm like reading it, if I don't like the voice of the narrator, like the narrator is making these characters, I know they're in high school and this is a young adult book, but the way she is doing her voice for some of these characters, I'm just like, oh my gosh, they are so annoying to listen to. So I'm trying to not put that into the context of it and just like listen to the book, but I'm just not loving it. It's, to me, I loved Dumplin' because of Willowdean and Beau's like romance in that book. Like, it was such good young adult romance to me. Like, I had the biggest crush on Beau. Like, it was the best thing ever. And I was really sad that they didn't even hardly put that in the movie at all. But anyways, side note. But so this is just like, to me, it's boring. So it follows Millie Michaelchuck, who is in Dumplin', and she's like a little side character in it. It's following her and, oh, I forget the other girl's name, Callie, which I'm trying to remember if they were in Dumplin' or not. I think she was, but very briefly as well. But like, Callie's this popular girl who's on the dance team, and Millie is, you know, the fat girl who everyone makes fun of and stuff. She's like this little Christian Southern belle little, you know, character type thing. And so it's essentially like, I mean, there's other people, like Willowdean is in this a little bit and a lot of the other girls that were in the book, but it's just like, I don't know. I find it odd that Millie is like the main character. Not that I don't like her. I think she's sweet and nice, but it's just like, this is just really boring and really dry. It's her working for her uncle at their uncle's gym, and the gym is like sponsoring the school's dance team, but they like have no money, so they have to pull out right before the girls are trying to go to like state and nationals and stuff. So then they get really upset and vandalize the gym, and then it's like Callie gets the blame for it, so she has to like work at the gym and whatever. But it's just like, there's nothing really happening. It's not fun. What I can imagine, let's see, it says don't break the rules, change them. So she gets kicked off the dance team and all this stuff, so I have a feeling maybe somehow Millie and Callie are going to become friends and do something with the dance team or something, do their own dance team thing. Who knows? It's like the fall of a popular girl and the rise of a chubby, fat nerd. You know, it's just kind of like cliche and not very much fun. But I did want to talk about something that I found to be very interesting. So like I said, I'm listening to the audiobook as I read it, and there's this part where Millie wants to start having a weekly slumber party with the girls that she did like the pageant stuff, like Willowdene and all of them. She wants them all to come together and start doing like, they're like, we don't hang out anymore, let's have a weekly slumber party. And so they're at this slumber party and they start doing the 2 truths and a lie game. And it's Amanda, I want to say. Yeah, it's Amanda, who I can't remember in the book who they are. But she essentially, so it's like, okay, so this is Amanda. She's doing her 3 truths and a lie. And she says, okay, 1, I pulled the fire alarm in middle school to sabotage a pop quiz in earth science and blamed it on Patrick Thomas, and I never got caught. And they go on, da 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 da. And number 3, oh wait, I missed number 2, I say. Sorry, my mind wandered. It's okay. Number 2 was that I am adopted. And then she says, and number 3 says, she says with a mouthful of banana runts, I have never really been sexually attracted to anyone. And then they start going on like, Will sits up, her posture straight as a fence. What does that even mean? You talk about Beau's peach butt all the time. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great butt. My brows furrow because I know that this one is Amanda's truth. But I've got to admit, it's not something that makes much sense to me. We've talked about it before, and the 2 of us had just figured that she hadn't met the right person, or maybe I figured that, and Amanda just let me believe it. And she says, I appreciate a good butt, Amanda shrugs, and who knows, maybe that's the lie. Anyways, and so then they start going into this whole thing about Amanda being asexual. And specifically, it started on these 2 pages. As I was reading it, I was like, kept getting so confused, and I was like getting lost on the page, and then I realized it was because what was being said on these pages about it was not what the audio was saying at all. And I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, is this just Libby's? Or I'm guessing that it's how the audiobook got put out, and I can't figure out why this would be. But they talk about it, but they glossed over it. Like these 2 pages, like she goes into depth talking about, so it says, like, here's a part where it goes into it, and she says, because Amanda smiles, do you think you'll always have a crush on Malik? And then she says, sorry, she says, I just meant that I don't really know, but it feels pretty permanent for now. Hannah lets out a long groan. You'll need to get on the damn internet or something. Amanda is asexual, aren't you, Amanda? Amanda's gaze connects with Hannah's, and something inside me feels hollow. Amanda is my best friend, and I want to understand her as well as Hannah does in this moment, but I feel like I'm a few steps behind. Well, says Amanda, technically, I'm so sorry, I've never even heard this word. Bryomantic asexual, I think. Not to be a total ass, says Will, but can someone translate, please? Hannah opens her mouth to speak, but Amanda says, I got this. Hannah smiles a real smile and nods. So what that means, explains Amanda, is that I can experience different kinds of attraction, but I personally I don't have sexual feelings for anyone. She turns to Will. Maybe it sounds complicated, but it feels pretty simple to me, and I guess that's all that matters. But you said you might want to have sex, says Will. So how can that happen without sexual attraction? Hannah opens her mouth again, but looks at Amanda's first, who nods in approval. It's like not being hungry, but still being okay with eating pizza or even enjoying it. And then there are some people who just don't like pizza no matter what. Like all of that, like none of that was in the audiobook. I can't even remember what it said, but it just like was a paragraph, like some of these 2 pages, like a paragraph, just like saying that, yeah, she's asexual and blah. Like it was so weird. I can't figure out. I would love anyone's thoughts on why that would be. I've had audiobooks differ from the physical book before, but never that drastically, and I just found it odd when like that was what the content was. So just interesting thoughts. So anyway, so that's where I'm at with that. Not having the best time. That's probably why it's also taking me so long. Then I've just been listening to, in my free time, like I said, I just have the audiobook on for the Rosie Effect, which I know a lot of people don't like this duology. I know people who like absolutely hate the Rosie Project and find it so dry and whatever, and I am not gonna try to say that these books are super entertaining and the best books I've ever read, but I just love Autism Rep, you know, I always have. I just find it interesting to listen to Don and like his thoughts, and especially this. So the Rosie Project is Don trying to find a wife, and he has this thing called the Wife Project, and he's conducting all this research, and trying to find like a perfect woman, and Stephanie ends up finding Rosie. Now this book, I don't feel like this is spoilers or whatever, you know, whatever. So he marries Rosie, they get married, and the second book is the Rosie Effect, which Rosie comes to him in the beginning and says that she is pregnant. It was not something they were expecting on yet, and so then he starts the baby project where he starts trying to figure out how to be a dad, and he's doing all these different things to, like, he's making all these lists and doing all this research for Rosie in pregnancy and like what she can eat and what she can't and all this stuff, and like studying babies and all kinds of stuff. It's just something to have on in the back. I really don't find it that entertaining. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I love this book, but it's just fun to sprinkle in sometimes. I'm about halfway through the audiobook, I think. So that's how that is going. And then I've barely been reading Thunderhead. I'm only on page 42. And I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this one by tomorrow, because it is 500 pages. So technically this would tick off another tome. I am liking this. I was worried because it has been so long since I read Scythe. I want to say over a year. And so I can't remember like how that ended. But as I started reading it, it's like, oh, sorry, my hips are really bad today. Let's sit down. It didn't really start, I think, where we left off. It came like a year later. And I can remember the characters, and as they're saying things, it's doing a really good job of, I hate when books, like you go to the next thing in a series, like Harry Potter, I know is the absolute worst. I didn't realize this until I started rereading the series last year, where it literally, the first like 100 pages, sorry, apparently I've been talking for already 30 minutes. Oh gosh. It just, everything, every time a character comes back in, they seriously tell the backstory of this character every single time. And I'm like, did she really think that we would be 4 books into the series and not know who Snape was? You know, like, so it's like stuff like that irritates me. Or when they take a bunch of the first book, like the first 50 pages or whatever, to just like recap everything. This is doing a really good job of reminding you what happened in Scythe, but it doesn't even tell you anything that happened in it. It's just kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, we all know that's not my strong suit, is explaining books, even though that's what this channel is. But yes, it's doing a good job that it's bringing everything back to my memory, that I'm not just like reading this like, what in the world, I don't remember. So that's been really nice. So that is what I'm doing right now. I am planning to take this weekend and just try to finish up what I can. I want to finish putting in the Rosie Effect for sure. I'm going to try to just dedicate most of the rest of my time to that. I don't have really anything going on. That is the plan. I've been just trying to be really kind to myself and doing some self-care. I've been taking some baths and just taking it easy. I think this week was just, like I said, just really hard in general. I said with a funeral. It also was like my period week, TMI, you know, so like emotions and hormones are weird anyways with that. And then there's just been some other stuff that I'm not going to talk about here because nobody wants to hear about it. Would not be fun to talk about. But I'm just like, I've been so much in my head, and emotionally, it's just really wrecking me. Oh, also, I did start listening to, before I had the Rosie Effect, I checked out The Flame in the Mist, and immediately DNF'd that one as well. That is not for me at all. Nah. I believe that was in the same haul of like buying books outside of my comfort zone. That is the kind of fantasy that is like, nope, kings and queens and beheadings and I can't. I want to, but I can't. I'm so sorry. So that one also got DNF'd and taken off of my shelf. So anyways, I have been talking for way too much. I'll throw whatever clips and stuff I have. I'll probably just come back in to talk about the books when I am done, unless something like crazy happens, but I doubt it. So this is just gonna be a relaxed weekend reading vlog essentially. So I hope you're all doing well. I'll catch you in a minute.
I know I messed up. Yeah, I know I did you wrong. But I learned my lesson. Now what if we could move on? Remember the good days. I wish that we could go back. I know I'm not perfect, but at least give me a try. I'm sorry for making you feel like you're not good enough, 'cause you're the best, you know. I'm sorry for making you feel like you're not good enough. Give me a chance, yeah baby, try just.
I thought I would add in just a quick little Costco haul because this vlog is really lacking in footage. So this is a very small haul for what we normally get. I normally get much more than this. But with Finley back in school, I honestly, like, she's the main reason we go to Costco, and I just don't really have to. So anyways, there's a case of Diet Coke for my husband. It's out in the fridge outside, but then I always get this, and it is the lower sodium bacon, and I use this to make my breakfast burrito stuff. I don't think I've ever showed it here, but I make basically a big batch of breakfast burrito filling, and my husband will do that for breakfast before he goes to work. I get the frozen raw shrimp. I'll do shrimp tacos a lot for myself. My family doesn't like seafood except for me. Get down, Gus. So I got those, and then I just always get some like fast little things that Charles will eat late at night when he has his days off. Again, I got these for me. I've been craving this like crazy, and Costco's I feel like was a pretty good deal, so I grabbed that. This is the first time I've ever bought this in my life. Then raspberries, blueberries. I also again wanted a faster dinner. Costco has so many like kits like this, like meal dinner kits, but they're just really expensive. This was like the cheapest one, so they're like chicken street tacos. Then again, some snack stuff. And then this is my favorite salad mix from Costco. I just add like 2 hard-boiled eggs to it, and it's so good. Then these were super cheap, and we like really hard bread rolls. Me and Charles do. Bentley doesn't like them too much. We like these, and they said they were super cheap, so grabbed that. I thought we could do sandwiches or soups or grilled cheese, whatever. Apples and bananas and a pineapple. That is everything that I got. Oh, I lied. I don't want to go out and embarrass myself. Living in townhomes, like, everyone would literally see me. So I got one of their they have all their fall mums out there, huge, and they're only like $14. So I got it in like this really pretty red color. That is everything. So now I'm just going to put everything away, and I need to read. Let's do that. And here we are at the end. Sorry this was such a mess. It is now Monday, and I am gonna wrap things up so I can start into this next week of the plans that I have. I am excited because you'll see in the next vlog what it is, and it's more exciting than this week was. Again, it kind of was falling flat. Anyways, let's wrap things up. So I just finished listening to Puddin'. I think I'm going to give this like a 3.5, probably. It got better than when I originally had talked to you last about it. I enjoyed more of the storyline. It navigated through some, not like intense, but like more meaningful things than I thought it would, and it did pique my interest. This is nowhere near as good as Dumplin', but I did enjoy it, and I will keep it and have it to go next. I wish Dumplin' I have in the paperback, and this is the hardback. I wish, because they are both red, so they will sit next to each other. I wish that they were the same, but it's okay. I'm not a person that gets really like people, you know, when they ask all the time, like, which do you prefer, paperback or hardback? I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think I really have a preference. I do really love a big floppy paperback, like, you know, we all do. That is nice to read because it just kind of can lay. But anyways, I'm off on a tangent. So again, let's do better. Okay, sure, that is better. I also, just as a note, did end up starting to just listen to this because I knew I wasn't going to get it done physically. And that's what I tend to do with my YA because I'm just like, let's just get this done. Then we have the Rosie Effect, which I am actually not done with. I am at 75% of my way with this, and I think I'm just going to be done. I still advocate if you enjoy listening to, if you are someone who enjoys reading about autism rep and kind of like being in the brain of an autistic person, a person with autism, then, I mean, I haven't done my research on this, like, I don't know how authentic it is, but see, okay, I am not a person with autism, but my spouse is on the spectrum as well as my child is on the spectrum. My husband has Asperger's, my daughter has autism, and I am just one of those people in the community that I don't feel like, yes, there can be harm done, obviously, but like people, when you see things, like I know a lot of people in the community super upset with the show on Netflix, Atypical. Me and my husband love it. I think it's an amazing representation of autism. I get what they're saying. Like, it's frustrating, I guess, that the actor who plays that character does not have autism, but I'm sure whoever wrote it has dealt with someone, and it's hard to have someone on the spectrum do that. Like, you know what I mean? So autism is such a huge spectrum, and it is so different. So to me, the character of Don, I always forget his name, like, that 100% is an accurate representation of somebody with autism. So anyways, sorry, I hope that you understand what I'm saying, that it's just like, it's interesting to always see what is like inside their brain because it literally is so different for everybody. There's some similarities of things that they might think or things that they do, quirks that they have, but is never exactly the same. Just like no one on this planet is exactly the same. So anyways, it was an interesting look, but the storyline, I was just kind of bored and was like, I've got enough out of this. I am done. I will count this as being read because, like I said, I have like this much left. I'm just going to count it. Hi, editing me quickly popping in. I did not give a final review for the Rosie project. Rosy Effect. My lands. And I would say I think I ended up giving it a 3. I would probably give it a 2.75. It was just kind of bland. Like I said, love the representation, love being in the story, whatever, but it was too much, too long. Oh, you're seeing all my mess. Too long, and, you know, I understand that it was very dry, very boring, very lackluster. I will not be continuing. I also seen as I went to my Goodreads that there is a third book, the Rosie something. But yeah, I won't be continuing there. But anyway, so that is, just wanted to say that. And then sadly, the one that I probably was like the most excited about was Thunderhead, and I am only on page 42. So, hint into my next, going into my reading, there's a chance that this still might get read. I think it's highly doubtful, but there is a chance. At least maybe I could keep reading into it. So, anyways, I am enjoying this quite a bit. I really like this series. I think it's very entertaining. I don't really have much to say. Maybe check later dates where I would talk more about this. But that is where I was at. And completing 2 of these is good for my goal because that's about what I need to be at, is about 2 books a week. So that is good. I'm sorry that this was a little bit weird. I don't know exactly what this is going to look like. I'm going to start editing now and hopefully get it up today. Things are just so strange right now. Honestly, like, as cliche and whatever as it sounds, I honestly kind of feel like I'm going through a quarter life crisis. I am 27, almost 28 years old, and like some major things are just shifting in my life, and I never thought that I would be here, and I'm just feeling very overwhelmed and things like that. But I'm going to try to not convey too much of that throughout these videos. I need to have a better mindset, attitude moving forward. So I know it's not very fun to just sit and listen to somebody moan and groan and complain. So please stick around, keep hanging in there with me if you're enjoying the time. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the like button, give me a comment, give me some words of encouragement, just generalized happiness. I would love that so much. And wherever you are, I hope that you are happy, healthy, and loved, and I will see you next time. Bye!